Ali's getting social. Forget him, man. I think they're telling me he's low level. How you doing, Akhi? Good, yeah, good to see you.
They've already spoke to him.
A nuisance, yeah?
Oh, how are you, my friend? You're right, good to mashallah. It's never a nuisance to see you, my friend. You good, yeah?
Can I ask you a quick question?
Of course, brother, yeah.
You know Musa alayhi salam. You know when Allah revealed his hijab, between creation.
Yeah.
And you know when he lifted it and it destroyed the mountain, right?
Yeah.
You know, Aisha narrates that she like no one can see Allah. Like no one's ever seen Allah. And someone asks her when
the Prophet went
up to Isra Mi'raj, he went to the Qalam and he didn't see Allah, right?
Yeah.
But you know, because Allah can see everything.
Yeah.
You know when he lifted the hijab,
yeah.
Why didn't he destroy all of creation? Why did he only destroy the mountain? Because if he can see everything, he shouldn't be able to destroy the whole of creation.
Well, because the thing is, I mean, he only projected it to that particular place.
Yeah.
He could. I mean, the Quran says, "La tudrikul absar wa huwa yudrikul absar." That the visions don't encapsulate him, and he encapsulates the visions. So it's not logically impossible for someone to see Allah, because we believe that in the Day of Judgment we're going to see Allah. But it's not seeing all of Allah. Like for example, if I look at the sun, I'm not looking at the whole celestial body. I'm looking at one aspect of it. So you're able to see Allah, but you won't see all of Allah. You won't encapsulate Allah in your vision.
And one more question, yeah. You know when it comes to prophets, yeah. You know, because some people I've heard the normal belief is that prophets are sinless, right? They've never sinned.
Yes.
Ever.
There's two opinions.
Yeah, but and then I heard that also like prophets can sin, but they do minor sins and they repent straight after.
Yeah.
So which one do I follow?
I don't know. I mean, you can follow whatever you think. I try and err on the side of caution because I don't want to say that a prophet sinned. Salih, of course.
Me as well, man.
Flex.
Can I quickly do it? Because
this is what happens when you're not coming for that.
Yeah, listen, bro, I've been watching your videos for 8 years, man.
Really?
And big fan, man.
8 years. But I've been online for 8.5 years. What's happened?
I don't know. But listen, everything, man. David Wood argument, all of them, Bob the Builder. Honestly,
You watched it all, yeah?
Huh?
You watched it all, yeah?
I watched all of them.
Alhamdulillah. Yeah. Let's take a picture of me and you, right? Is this your son? How old is he?
My son. He's this one. He knows you as well.
How old is this boy?
He's 6.
Oh, he's a tall boy.
Brother, can one of you take a photo? Is that right?
And my son is like his age.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Every time I come to the park, I haven't seen you.
You watched, you play on iPads and all this stuff, yeah? Yeah.
But he's learning his students and doers, aren't you? And look at the camera. Which one? Yeah. You can take a few, but.
Yeah, it doesn't get tickled.
Cheers, man.
It's alright. Okay.
Keep up the work.
A little bit. One more.
Going left and everything.
Thank you so much.
I was watching.
Yeah.
I was watching the lecture on social liberalism.
Yes.
Okay. And we were talking about Jeremy Bentham and James Wynne and all their ideas.
Yes.
One of the things that you brought up was this aspect that desire is right?
Yeah.
And this is what they claim.
Yes.
And therefore you
No, but don't he calls it the desirability proof or something to prove it.
But he says that because you desire something,
exactly.
You desire it. For example, he said you you can perceive sound because you hear it.
Yes.
And you can see because
Yeah. So how does it work? It's circular.
So you desire something.
Yeah,
so if it's an axiom.
Yeah, no, he's not saying it's axiom. He's saying circular. He's saying he's trying to provide demonstrative proof, and other has disagreed with him on.
Yeah.
He says that this is a circular argument. Desiring it. Because the truth is,
same thing with the existence of Allah.
You know, but we're not saying
axiom.
It's true. It's true. If you said, someone said God's existence, well, I just feel him. That's proving. That's just saying that's invoking a concept. It's not proof. The fitrah is not a proof from that perspective.
Okay.
It's a supra-rational. So it's not a demonstration.
Yeah.
A third-person demonstration is where you go out and try and like this is how you can't do that with that. That's why you need.
Can't do that with consciousness.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. And to be honest with you, bro, I mean, I don't disagree with all that. Like in terms of liberalism, what they say is that you like stuff. Okay, I like stuff. Essentially, human beings try to avoid pain and get pleasure. That's true, though. I'm not saying that's not true. But the question is, why should that be the case? I'm saying that. Look, okay, I like pleasurable things. That's what it is. Why should that be the case? Why should I live like that? Why should I live like that? That's the question.
There's no answer there.
Yeah, there's no answer there.
Yeah.
I want to
Yeah.
Like, if, say for instance, I have a toaster by the apparent meaning, but the toaster is uncreated, unphysical, and has no parts. I don't think anyone would say this is definitely a toaster. So why is it like with bread, we do that and say we still have the apparent meaning?
Because that's what the qiyas al-far' ala al-asl. As Ibn Taymiyyah mentioned, he says that now what you're doing is you're analogizing the branch with the asl, with the source. Because the thing is, what you have to do in order to do that is tashbih in the first instance. You have to actually anthropomorphize God so that the hand that's been referred to is like the toaster in the example. But we're claiming that the hand is nothing like the toaster. It's a sifa, really. And the truth is that in the beginning of, there's different views on this. Some Hanbalis go far. I'm not going to lie to you. Some Hanbalis go far. They start attributing things and speak about it in a bit of an anthropomorphistic way.
Somebody told me we should neither affirm nor negate God.
Yeah, but that doesn't make sense.
And I was shocked.
It doesn't make sense. Body, like, yeah.
Because I said he doesn't have a body, and someone
Yeah,
said we
sure.
should neither affirm nor negate.
Yeah, that's stupid. Yeah, but look, I mean, the only thing that we can say is that God, you cannot imagine it.
Yeah.
I know it sounds very basic, innit? But like, now, when you have these discussions, too much makes you start thinking about God like as a man or something.
Yes.
Or the hand of God, the fingers, this and that. You're talking too much like this. The Salaf didn't do that, by the way. They actually did not do that.
Yeah.
Because if you sat there, in fact, the Salaf didn't even like talk about Qadr that much. Qadr is like, because you speak about Qadr, it creates doubts.
Yeah, the Prophet has...
Yeah, he was angry. The Prophet got angry when he saw people talk about Qadr.
Yeah.
Why? Because, you know, it's one of those things you're never going to know the full mechanisms of it.
But I wanted to know what's the difference between tafweed and then affirming the apparent meaning whilst negating...
The only difference is a linguistic one. They're saying that... Yeah,
I'm trying to say for so
yeah,
long
that's
that
right.
people have been gaslighting.
That's right. It's a linguistic meaning. Because the will say the tafweed of the ma'na, but it's not. We say no, actually tafweed, what do you call it? Nufawwid al-kayf. They say tafweed of the kayf. But it's, look, don't worry about all that. To be honest with you, I genuinely, after a long time of speaking about these issues and studying them, have come to the conclusion that we have to have a very basic way of speaking about this. We don't. We're talking about. We're going to know Allah's intricacies. We don't. We're not going to know Allah. You're not going to imagine Him. So at the end of the day, we say, yeah, Allah has a sifat yad. That's the first take. I'm going to say Allah has an attribute called yad. What does that mean? How can you describe it? Okay, like has functions. In the same way as I would say has kalam. I don't see a problem with kalam. Because if I ask the Ash'ari, why have you done ithbat of the kalam? He will say kalam is, what do you call it? He'll define it in a certain way, selbi way. I'm saying, okay, you done ithbat of kalam. It's not really aqli for God to speak. For me, God doesn't need to speak. But no problem, for the sake of argument, yeah? So the yad is like that. Like, okay, God can perform some functions with this difficult yad. That's the first I can say. Yeah, do you know what I'm saying? If you go further and say, oh, it's this and it's that and...
So hold on, what happens when only the mankind brain can only think of yad as a hand?
Then that image, you know that's not God. 100%. Whatever you think about, if I say imagine God and whatever you think about it's not, it's wrong.
You know the so-called Salafis thing?
Yeah, to be honest, yeah. That is true. That is the view of the Salaf, in fact.
But if everything we imagine is wrong, then there is no apparent about it anymore.
No, because that's assuming that a human being can imagine all the things in the world. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. We can't imagine everything. There's, like the human brain and the aql of the human is qasir, is deficient. There's things you can't imagine. So the thing is, there's a point where you stop. The point you start, like, I affirm, okay, there's a sifa called this and that. Yet, and like what this guy was asking, what two hands? He said, okay, because Salaf said two hands, and the both hands are right. And then what about this and what about that? And there's all, I don't want to entertain it because the truth is there's discussion about it. There's discussion, and he's trying to. They get trained by Bob, yeah, and others. They get trained of, I don't know who trains them, but like the difference between Ash'aris and Athari, I want to get us to attack each other. You get it? They're trying to create disunity. Because the Ash'ari has a different answer. So the two hands or whatever, Athari say no, the two hands or whatever. The two hands are... Exactly, he's making up any question just to run away. But that's what I'm saying, you don't need to engage. We're talking about these things amongst ourselves. What do we mean by two right hands anyway? How can you have a right hand? Both his kilta yadahu yamin. Kilta yadahu yamin. Both of his hands are right. Do you know what I mean? How does that even work? But his hands are right. All right. So how does it work? So the way I see it is there's two sifas, two different sifah, and it has to be different. Which are they same or different? My answer is it have to be different. Because if they were the same, it would be the same thing. It would be tautology. It's like saying, like, for example, we say rahmah and maghfirah. Rahmah is the mercy of God, maghfirah is like the forgiveness of God. Do you get what I'm trying to say? They're two different sifat. So if you're going to say that Allah has kilta yadahu yameen, I'm saying that these two are two different sifas. Yes, and that is what the Salaf said. So there was a difference between the right and this and that. When we say right, it doesn't mean the right like this. It doesn't mean that. It just is a sifa called that. A sifa, I don't know.
So it's just a name for you affirming the wording.
But I know, but I'm affirming something, but I don't even know what that is in its intrinsic value. I know it has function though.
Yeah.
That's the thing. It does. That's where I would differ with Ash'ari.
Because Ash'ari says they don't know the function, basically.
No, they wouldn't affirm a function necessarily. Because the thing is, like, for example, Allah yabsutu, yeah, wa yaqbidu, yeah, wa yamliku, all of that with the hand. Biyadihi al-mulk, for example, there's like possession. There is constriction. There's got things going on that he's talking about that hand. So that's why I say that it's a functional thing. You could definitely say. In terms of how the intrinsic value, I can't tell you.
So if I said I know what yad, I don't know what yad means, but I know it created Adam, what would this make?
That's fine. No.
An Ash'ari or an
No, if you say I don't know what it means in this, what do you mean?
I don't know what yad means, but I know it made Adam.
That's either your manzila bain al-manzilatayn. You're kind of like in between the two. Okay. By saying that, because you're saying something which an Ash'ari would accept and something which an Athari would accept.
Okay, alhamdulillah.
No, because some Ash'ari will say no, it's ta'wil, fully. Like it says, it's ni'mah.
So they don't know what the whole verse means?
No, they'll make ta'wil, like some of them, because remember you have two madhabs in Ash'ari. Yeah. You have the ta'wil madhab and the tafweed madhab.
Oh.
Yeah? So the ta'wil is that you say that the yad is ni'mah or the blessings or the power or something like that, yeah? Okay, there's problems with it. I mean, Ibn Taymiyyah's response to that is, well, it says, بَلْ يَدَاهُ مَبْسُوطَتَانِ
It would have been easy.
بِمَا خَلَقْتُ بِيَدَيْهِ, he says. Allah says, بِمَا خَلَقْتُ بِيَدَيْهِ. How could you have two powers? That's what he says.
Yeah.
But then the Ash'ari could respond, I'm just playing devil's advocate, and say, well, in that area, it means something different. And in my view, Allah Alam, what I see is that if you look at Ibn Tabari, he says that when you look at the word yad in the Quran, it does actually have different meanings depending on the ayah. Like, for example, وَالسَّمَاء بَنَيْنَاهَا بِأَيْدٍ وَإِنَّا لَمُوسِعُونَ. We have aid is jam'a. It's like, aid is like the word from yad. But I'm saying that here it means power. Even Ibn Abbas says that, Salaf. My madhab on the matter of this is that actually the whole thing is linguistic, and because I speak English as a first language and Arabic as a second, and especially the Arabic of the Prophet Muhammad, it's a foreign language to me effectively. I've had to learn it for years and years, but I'm not like that. Do you get me? So what I'm saying, thank you, bro. What I'm saying is that the way I look at it, simple, it seems so simple, wallahi. But wallahi, I don't think anyone could go wrong with this. Go to Tafsir al-Tabari, see the thing in question, yeah? Or even Kathir or something like that, and see the hadith what Ibn Abbas says about it. Like whatever Ibn Abbas says about it is my madhab. Like not Ibn Taymiyyah. Because you can say, okay, well, Ibn Taymiyyah and Ibn Abbas, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying not Ibn Taymiyyah for that reason. I'm just saying the articulation of Ibn Abbas. That's the one I'm looking for. Because he's saying it as a guy that lived with the Prophet ﷺ, and the Prophet ﷺ gave him no way he got it wrong. Because it's not like this is a knowledge that gets better as time goes on. It's not like technology is going to inform the way we think about it. So whatever Ibn Abbas says about a particular ayah, that's my view. Like for example, if you... Tafsir. Yeah, but it has to be a sahih hadith. Because sometimes some hadith are attributed incorrectly to Ibn Abbas. So you have to look at what's authentic. I'll look at what's authentic. What does Ibn Abbas say? You'll be surprised. Sometimes Ibn Abbas, like فَثَمَّ وَجْهُ اللَّهِ in Surah Al-Baqarah. ثَمَّ وَجْهُ اللَّهِ, it says, and so wherever you go, you'll see the wedge of Allah, which translated literally the face of Allah. Wherever you turn, you face the face, you'll see the countenance or the face of Allah. Ibn Abbas says it means the Qibla. Okay, so I go with that. He knows about Arabic, he knows what that means, he knows the context, I'll go with that. But then if about Ibn Abbas says whatever, in other place, I'll go with that as well. If he does what would seem to be like the Hanbali position, I'll go with that. So I'm just going to follow what Ibn Abbas says. When I say follow the Salaf, I know it sounds cliche at this point, you know what I mean? But it's actually, this is a good approach for this thing. Because it's not like anything has changed. The madhab of the Salaf, therefore, is like, go with whatever they say. So Ash'ari will be upset and say, well, the madhab of the Salaf is tafweed. And the Hanbali will say it's not ithbat. I say, don't forget about these words. In here, these are all just words. Tafweed, ithbat. It's not, al-ibra laysa fi mabani. It's not about, syntax. It's not the ibra.
It's semantics.
Yeah, it's the ibra is not from the mabani, it's the ma'ani, right? As the Arabs say. Forget about all these words for now. Just to see what they say about it. Yani, because everything there's going to be an exception. I'll be honest with you. Like, for example, you say Wajhullah, for example, in the akhir of Surah Al-Qasas or something, it says that كل شيء هالك إلا وجهه. So that's is that ithbat? You're not doing ithbat. You know, you're doing ta'weel here. You're doing this. Saying call it what you want to call it. I don't care. I'm doing what Ibn Abbas said. I don't care what you want to call it. If you want to call it ta'weel, call it. Go back to the early generation. That's my view on it. That's the best thing. Yeah, Ibn Abbas Sahaba. He's one of the best guys when it comes to what do you call it? Tafsir of Quran. Yeah. Very good, huh? You cannot go wrong with this. I believe you cannot go wrong with this. Anyway, that's it, yeah? I don't know why I just started going to run. Let's see if there's anyone to talk to.
Yo, if I wanted to start why are you oh no, really? Oh, you're superior. I'm supposed to bow to you or something?
I know you're used to bowing to Middle Easterners.
Middle Easterners.
You worship.
Worship Middle Easterners. That's a good one. That's a